Hey everyone, welcome back to Nova Scotia. Well, I am an early bird and I love this time of day out in my greenhouse because it's before it gets hot in here. We've been having some beautiful sunny days, great for all the vegetables, and this is the time before it gets hot when I can do some work in my greenhouse. So today we're gonna make some serissa for the market. It's been a great plant to propagate. But first, I want to show you my fig trees. They're doing amazing, and they've also been a great plant to propagate and sell. So let's take a look at them. So they've just really gone crazy this year. This group is two pots of them. You can see that they were in here in pots, and they went right through the bottom of the pot. You can see right here, big old root coming out of the pot right into the ground. So I don't move them anymore. And these two have just gone crazy this year. In April they were scratching the plastic, so I took cuttings off of them, and I've sold most of those cuttings now. They did really well. Like the first week of April, when it was still dormant, I took cuttings off the tops, and I'm gonna have to do it again because they're right up to the plastic again. It's a very aggressive plant and just wonderful to have. Here's a area that's got figs really nice. They ripen in here for us in the end of September, first part of October. And it's just covered with figs this year. So they are brown turkey figs, and they are the most cold resistant fig. And not last winter, but the winter before, we had a spell where it went right down to 15 below Fahrenheit, 15 below zero, and they survived and came back from that. So it is extremely cold resistant fig. It's the most cold resistant. So here's one of the cuttings. They make a wonderful plant to sell. So my other one in here is also in a pot, and it's gone right into the ground. So it'll be staying here, and it's also covered with figs. So it's going to be some good eating in here. One of the nice things about them is they don't all ripen at the same time. They kind of come a few at a time, so we can just come in here and feast on them for all of October. So yeah, the brown turkey fig, it's been a great plant. So we're looking at serissas today, and I've been propagating serissas for a couple of years now, and I have quite a few 2-year-old cuttings now. And one of the things that they always do is they throw a lot of low suckers, and this one's got one that needs to be cut off here. It's important to get those off so that it makes a good trunk. This one's got a good trunk going, but you have to get rid of all those suckers to make it good. And this is about where I want them to put into a pot. So it's been a very easy plant to propagate. So I can take this sucker and make it into the next plant. So I like to use these 6-packs because maximize space. And I've taken to planting a lot of them over rocks. They have really interesting roots, and I know they're going to be a good plant to do root over rock with. And this one has grown out. It's very aggressive, and so I can get some good cuttings off of this one. It's very easy plant to propagate. They root every time. It's one of those plants you can end up with too many of them right away, but it does take about 2 years for a cutting to mature and get a trunk on it, because this part right here is going to become the trunk. So I need to be taking cuttings on them all the time, and doing them in the 6-packs, they're easier to manage. So this plant would probably root without the hormone. But one thing the hormone does is it makes a stronger cutting. It gives it a better start. So it is worth using, even if a plant's going to root on its own. It'll help to make it a stronger cutting. So now that I've got 6 cuttings off of this, that'll be enough for this one. And it's a plant, it is a shrub. It's a South Asian shrub. So you can prune them just like a shrub. And they are very aggressive. So especially for bonsai, you want to keep them cut. And it makes a beautiful white flower in the fall. So now's a good time to get them pruned, and then leave them alone for the fall to set flower buds. So really happy with the way this one's developing. So I'm going to make a couple here for the market. I've been making a lot of this size pot. This is one that just recently came out of the kiln that the wife has done some carving on. This is made on a slump mold that I made out of plaster Paris. So we'll use this one. And I definitely like the way they're working out for the root over rock thing. It is great rock hounding around here. So here's a cool rock I found. And we'll use this one to plant this one on. So I want to mound the dirt up and leave an area for the roots to cascade down around it so that I get this rock sticking up enough. They always settle quite a bit, so I want to kind of exaggerate everything at this point, really have that rock up, sitting up high. And it is a plant that has very aggressive roots, and that's what's making it. That's one of the things that's making it good for root over rock. So it has been in that plastic pot for about 2 years, so I'm gonna get rid of most of the stuff, most of the roots that were accumulated in the bottom of the pot. It's always a good idea. So now we've got some good rocks hanging, good roots hanging down that we can drape over the rock. That's about like I want it. And for it to be stable now, I'm gonna cover up most of the rock and let the roots do their thing. Because the plant does have very aggressive roots, and it'll grab onto that rock over a few months. And then I can slowly wash the dirt off the rock and expose the root over rock. So that one's sitting just about right. I want to tuck this area of dirt around the rim so that my moss sits in there. Always good to get them mossed. The moss really does a great job of mulching the plant and keeps the sun off the soil. Keeps the plant really happy, and it will encourage the roots to grab onto that rock. And And the moss will develop right along with the bonsai, so it's an important step. So we'll give it a good drink of Miracle Grow. Like most plants, it responds really well to Miracle Grow. This will get it really stimulated to grow some roots in there for me. Grab onto the rock. So I also want to prune it now. Cut all these ends off. Get it cut like that so that it'll throw the energy back into this trunk. A couple of little stragglers here that can come off. So there we go. Serissa root over rock. So here's another pot that was made on the same slump mold with the wife's carving on it. The nice thing about the slump mold is all the pots come out exactly the same. Okay, I've got this pot ready. Got all the soil in it. I've got the dirt nicely mound up in the center. And here's the rock that I've chosen for this one. It's got an interesting natural little reservoir on the top of it. So it should hold a little water. Should work out really nice. So this is the one I'm going to use for this pot. This one's done really well. So this is a 2-year-old cutting. It wintered over in the basement. And it takes about 2 years for them to get mature enough to where they have a good trunk on them. This one's got a really nice trunk going. So I want to get these roots. They do get, it is a plant that gets fairly root bound. You can see. So just like the other one, I want to cut all this root off the bottom that's gone around and around in the pot. It has turned out to be a plant that benefits from having its roots trimmed like this. It really stimulates it to grow. Get them all spread out so I can drape them over the rock. Try to get as much liverwort off of there as I can. Always a good idea to try to eliminate the liverwort early. It will take over. So that's about right. Just like the other one, I want to really exaggerate how high the plant's sitting in there, because it will settle. Even now, I'll be able to push it down some. And this is definitely the time to get the cutting set so that it's not leaning one way or the other. It's looking pretty good. This is a really good time of year to prune them. This is right before they start to really set a lot of flower buds. And pruning them now definitely makes more flowers. Almost time to go look for moss. There's a nice piece. Give this one a good drink. So there we go. There's 2 more good serissas that'll go to the market. So it has been really important for me to have a good $25 bonsai. In these hard economic times, it's not the easiest thing to convince someone to drop some money on a bonsai. So these little concrete pots have worked out great for that, because these are extremely cheap to make, and I can feel comfortable selling them for $25. So we'll put this one in there. And this one's a good example of how they grow with the suckers on the bottom. Really important to get rid of these at this point, to expose a good trunk, because we're trying to make a tree shape. And they basically want to grow like shrubs, but they make a wonderful tree. But you always have to manage the trunk on them. So just doing that, we have much more of a tree look to the plant. One more little sucker on there. Really important to get rid of all that stuff on the trunk, so it just looks like a smooth trunk. So I think $25 is probably about as cheap as it gets for a bonsai. And they have been a great seller for me. Get it mossed up. And a good drink of Miracle-Gro. So there we go. There's another $25 to put in the gas tank. So here's a good look at what we've made this morning. You can see that both of these are sitting up nice and high in the pot. Really important. So as they settle into the pot, they'll be at the right level. I never want to have them sunken down into the pot, really. And our serissa in a concrete pot. So there's a flower coming. It's a wonderful thing. They bloom in the fall, so right up to Thanksgiving I can have them covered with white flowers, and that's when they really sell. So the serissa plant, it's been a great plant to propagate. I hope everyone's having a great bonsai day, and I'll see you next time on Bonsai by the Sea.